Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Philosophers of the Future. Today we're going to be exploring Plato's Allegory of the Cave because I think it's a really good look into what I want to explore here on this channel. We're going to be looking at the high versus the low, and I'm super excited, way more relaxed in this video. It's time to get this YouTube channel going. I'm pumped, really excited. Here we go. So one of the first questions we have to ask ourselves, of course, is who is Plato? And why should I care? Plato has been dead for so long. And does his thoughts have any impact on our world today? And the answer is yes, it does. But in a way that may be different than you would think. Because I think that what Plato does is he's separating practical and theoretical wisdom. And he really shows us this in the Allegory of the Cave. Now, Plato was a 14th century philosopher from Athens. He originally was a student of Socrates, and his student Aristotle would go on to teach Alexander the Great, who conquered much of the known world at the time. And I think that's really important. We're going to get back to that. But right now we're going to be focused on this Allegory of the Cave and what is the Allegory of the Cave. So what is the Allegory of the Cave? The Allegory of the Cave is Plato is asking us to imagine a group of humans chained to the inside of a cave. And they're staring at a wall in front of them. And in front of them and this wall are shadows. And they're pictures of things. If you can imagine, a sheep, a picture of a sheep, and the shadow cast against the wall. And those shadows are being controlled by these mysterious sort of nomads, or people in society, these that are at a higher level. They're physically higher, and they're kind of illuminating this fire. They're stoking this fire and using the fire's light to cast a shadow on the wall. So the person in the cave believes that reality is the shadows being cast for them in front of them. But if a person, a philosopher say, broke the chains and freed himself or herself, they could leave the cave and go out into the world and see the world how it's truly meant to be seen. Because when there's a fire, it's very smoky, there's a haze, it's flickering. So you don't really get the true grasp of reality. You don't really know what, say, a sheep looks like. But they go out and they can understand the truth about a sheep or a tree or anything. And what this is a allegory for society. It's a metaphor, basically, for the world around us. Because today we live in a society. Not just the meme. We do live in a society, but it's more than just the meme that you see on Instagram. Really, we live in a society where we have our reality giving to us. For example, we eat with a fork and knife rather than chopsticks, and we think it's okay to eat a cow but not a dog. And that's just how our society works. We live in a society, and those kind of norms are given to us by these people outside, up controlling this fire, and that's just how we live. But if you really think about it, the truth of things can only come by looking at them in the sunlight. And I think that's super important. That's what Plato's trying to say. Now, if you imagine the sun as something that is kind of revealing the truth of the world, this sort of oneness, the real truth of a tree or a sheep. I don't know why I picked those things, by the way. It's just completely random. It could be literally anything, a rock, grass, deer. All these things have a certain quality or oneness to them that is real and that we need to understand. And it's the philosophers who can do that. And they're supposed to come back. They're supposed to leave and then come back to the cave and bring the reality, not the reality, because we live in a society, but bring the truth back. And this truth, and the reason why they have to come back, is because the Allegory of the Cave is actually the difference between practical and theoretical thought. We all live inside the cave. We all practically have to break down and give laws to the world around us just to live. We need to know how an animal is going to act in order to hunt it, or how to just use our fork and knives to eat. And that's what we've decided to use. But when you go outside of the cave, that's the ethereal plane of theoretical thought. And the thing is that I think this metaphor works so well is that there's a reason why humanity can't look straight into the sun. When you look into the sun, you're blinded. You're blinded by the sun. And it's just like, it's something that's beyond human, is that kind of oneness, or the truth, the objective truth that philosophers have been searching for so long. That's what we're looking for in the Allegory of the Cave. That's why it's philosophers' job to go out and come back. And you have to come back because we exist in the practical world. But our mind is allowed to go out into the theoretical world. Plato is separating it's the first step into separating the theoretical world and the practical world. And that's super important, because in the practical world, it's where all the things that are good for society, all the things that we no longer have to think about today, like getting water, getting food, we just have to go to a grocery store, turn on our faucets. These tasks that used to be monumental to humanity and extremely important are now difficult. So ancient philosophers who are trying to get out of this cave and kind of bring things back for humanity are really prison breakers. They're trying to escape their chains and kind of readjust their realities and readjust the reality of the people around them. And so what that means is that sort of modern philosophers are the interior decorators of this cave. They're the interior decorators of our world right now. The large difference between the past philosophers and the present philosophers is that the past philosophers are saying, okay, what's best for humanity? Oh, well, that's being virtuous, or it's being, Cicero might say, it's being really good to your fellow man, or, what is truth, what is good, and what is good? Is there such thing as objective good or not? But the modern philosophers, I don't give a about any of that shit. They're just totally focused on, how are we going to make the practical world the best for humanity? How are we going to practically improve our world around us? How are we going to get to a point where everyone gets to live in a really nice house, have a really nice home, have air conditioning, and really just completely overcome the external world of nature? And that's sort of the main difference between ancient and past philosophers, and what I would say is between the difference between theoretical and practical thought. Because people like Thomas Hobbes, who's, is really just thinks the goal of humanity is comfortable self-preservation, we know that's not true. We as humans know that's not true, because we would, if we have a kid, we might sacrifice ourselves for that kid. Thomas Hobbes does not care about preservation of the species. If Thomas Hobbes is really the only person, if Thomas Hobbes is right, and that self-preservation was paramount to humanity, we wouldn't have made it this long. Because there's no such thing as Thomas Hobbes' preservation of the species. That's something that was given to us by Thomas Hobbes. He said that. He wrote that into existence. And by writing that into existence, he created it. And that's why today, we don't give a crap about the preservation of our species. We don't care. We have an existential threat of global warming that is coming for humanity, and we really don't care that much. And that's because these modern philosophers are only focused on serving the practical ends and being interior decorators of our cave. So we gotta figure out how to move past that. And we'll explore that more in future videos. So why is Plato's Allegory of the Cave so important? Well, it's because modern philosophers are gonna look at Plato's Allegory of the Cave and say, why even worry about the theoretical thought? We're gonna purely focus on what's inside of the cave. If humans have to live out on the inside of a cave, why not pimp that cave out? We're gonna make that cave look as nice as possible. And today, we live in caves. Our houses are caves. They're surrounded by things that have no intrinsic value, things that we just put inside of our homes for no reason. We pimp out our homes, our castles. And it's really comfortable, and it's a really good time, and we love it. But we definitely lose something when we do that. We kind of forget to take a step back and exit the cave every once in a while. We no longer are kind of like searching for that objective truth. We're just sort of very comfortable and happy living in a practical world, living inside of the cave. Now, we may be moving around this cave, but we're still in chains, and we need to focus on that as we move forward, and we're gonna tweak our relationship with reality here on this channel. So thanks guys, thanks for being with me here today. If you like this video, subscribe, comment, like it, or don't. No one's watching this video, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm pumped. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys like my Piggly Wiggly shirt. Have a great day. Bye.